welcome to Centered with Abby. My name is Abby Alardi Lowry, and I'm a licensed professional counselor, a yoga instructor, and a healing arts facilitator. And today, I'm going to be guiding you through a mini retreat that you can join anytime from the comfort of your home. I hope that this time truly feels like a retreat for you. A time set apart from the stress and distractions and endless demands of modern life. I hope that you'll walk away from this time feeling truly restored and centered. And I hope you'll feel like you gained some interesting insights about yourself in the process. Before we get started, I'd like to invite you to take a look around your space wherever you currently are or wherever you plan to take this retreat. And ask yourself if there's anything you'd like to do to create a more grounding environment. Now, this doesn't need to be anything fancy or complicated, but I find that sometimes taking just a couple of minutes to set up the space can be really helpful for getting into the right mindset. And it can help make this time feel separate from the rest of your day. So, for example, if you have an obvious source of potential distraction, like your phone, maybe consider putting it on airplane mode, or put it somewhere else if you're not listening to this on your phone. Or if there are other sources of distraction that you can easily remove or minimize, maybe do so now. And it's okay if this isn't perfect. Distractions happen. But do what you can to create an environment that feels supportive of this practice. That also means that this probably isn't the best podcast to be listening to while driving or cooking or trying to multitask. This is designed to be an immersive practice. Now, besides putting away distractions, you might also want to do a little something extra to make this time feel special. So when I'm trying to make my space feel cozy for something like a mini retreat, I have a row of battery-powered candles, and I'll turn off my lights and maybe put on a lamp and have those candles glowing. It's super simple, but it creates a little ritual that gives my brain the message, hey, this time is different, it's special. I'll usually also make myself a cup of herbal tea, maybe cozy up with a blanket if it's not ridiculously hot outside, and maybe I'll even diffuse some essential oils or burn a smudge stick if I'm feeling particularly fancy. So all of this is optional, but psychologically speaking, it can be helpful to do something to try to kind of ritualize this, to make this time feel set apart from the normal course of your life. If you'd like other suggestions for making this time feel special, including an herbal tea recipe that I've put together for this retreat specifically, my paid subscribers on Substack get a mini retreat PDF guide with all of that and more. So if that sounds interesting to you, the price is really reasonable, so you can find that link in the show notes and consider subscribing. Okay, almost ready to begin, but one last little logistical thing before we start. I suggest that you grab a journal or something that you can write or type with and have that handy for a little bit later in the practice, because our main exercise for the day does involve writing. So you can pause and grab that now, or there's also a time a little bit later where I'll be talking and you can grab it then. So whenever you're ready to start, I invite you to find your most comfortable seated position. You could also be standing if you're tired of sitting for the day. So get comfortable, and I invite you to, wherever you are, release a big sigh out your mouth. Letting all of the air go. Maybe doing that a few times, letting your body fill up with oxygen, and then releasing the stress of your day or your week with a big sigh. Notice how it feels to release your breath in this way. And you can make as much noise with your sigh as you like. Not gonna lie, sometimes it feels really good to let out a super dramatic sigh. Or maybe you're feeling like you'd like something a little more subtle or a more gentle release. So play around with different ways of letting out your exhale. Sometimes it feels good to put your lips in a circular position, like you're blowing out of a straw. Or maybe there's some other way of breathing that feels good to you. This is your retreat, so do whatever feels best to you. Everything I say is simply a suggestion. So you can keep playing with your breath, or you can let that go. And let's get into our bodies a little bit more. Let's see if there's a stretch or a movement that would feel really good right now. One option is to reach your arms up to the sky and find a nice juicy stretch in your torso and side body. If you're joining me for this stretch, maybe take a breath or two as you reach up tall, and then maybe see what it feels like to bend your elbows, creating a shape like a goalpost or a cactus, squeezing your shoulder blades together behind your back. And maybe see if you could slide your elbows just a tiny bit farther back to deepen the stretch, as if you're trying to touch your elbows to a wall behind you. Let your whole body fill with air as you hold this stretch, and let your air out with a sigh. You can hold this stretch as long as it feels good. Or maybe you choose to find a rhythmic movement with it. So maybe reaching up to the sky on an inhale, finding that stretch, and bending your elbows into that cactus position on an exhale. Rhythmic, repetitive movement can help us drop into a very mindful and even meditative state. So keep going with that if it feels good, inhaling up and exhaling down. Or feel free to find any other movements or stretches that would feel better. Don't think too hard. Just let your body do what it wants to do right now. Follow what feels good. Now, I encourage you to keep moving and stretching as I talk, or if you feel complete with that, it would also be a great choice to just sit in stillness. Find some meditative stillness. I like to include a mindful warm-up to help us drop in and release some of the stress from the day, start to come into our bodies, and start to feel a bit more centered. But the rest of this mini retreat is primarily a self-reflection and journaling practice. However, I encourage you to make this time your own. So if you are really tired of sitting still and you ever feel like pausing and moving around or stretching some more or anything else, please do so. Remember that this is your time. I'm simply here to create the container, to help you take this time for yourself, and to give some suggestions of how you might want to use it. But make it your own. So our theme for the month on Centered with Abby is living deeply. What does it mean to live deeply? And how do we do it? I go into this theme a lot more in the previous episode of this podcast and in the free Substack article that accompanies it, both of which I'll link in the show notes. But in a nutshell, we're exploring what it means to live life to the fullest. So many people, myself included, can get stuck on this treadmill where it feels like we're just constantly running but never actually getting anywhere. It can feel like time is speeding by so fast that we forget to stop and actually enjoy our life. To me, living deeply is trying to combat that. Living deeply is a combination of a number of things. It requires a pause, a slowing down, an act of centering and reminding yourself what's important to you. It requires presence and mindfulness. So, not living in the past or biding time until you reach some imagined future. It's learning to fully invest in the present moment and finding beauty in it. Along with that, it's cultivating a mindset of curiosity, of gratitude, connection, playfulness. All of these things that came so easily to us as children, but maybe they feel really difficult as an adult. It's making small moment-to-moment choices that help you create a life that makes you feel alive. And those choices can be as simple as a mindset shift, a shift in the things you give your attention to. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. The goal is actually living deeply in the everyday, in the normal, in the mundane. How do you take your normal life and go from living on this sense of autopilot to feeling fully alive? That is what living deeply means to me. But today, we're going to explore what living deeply means to you. Our first exercise is going to be a free writing journaling prompt. I'm going to read you the prompts here, but if you'd like them written out, they're all there in that PDF guide I mentioned earlier. So some instructions before I give you the prompt. I want you to tap into your stream of consciousness and just free write whatever pops into your brain. Try not to analyze, try not to overthink, and try not to edit at all as you go. Just let every thought stream onto the page. There is no right or wrong here. We are just exploring. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about making it grammatical. You don't need to write in full sentences. It doesn't even have to make sense. Just get your ideas on the page. Maybe challenge yourself if you're using paper and pencil to not even let your pencil leave the paper. Just write anything and everything that comes up, constantly writing until the time is up. And if the words aren't coming and you're having trouble getting started, you can literally just write what you're thinking. So you can write, I am frustrated because I'm trying to write and nothing is coming and I'm supposed to be writing about living deeply and I don't know what to write. I have literally done that before when I've done this type of practice, and it actually does help. Eventually you can get under the surface and you can get past the stuckness and stuff just comes up. I think of it like popping a cork on a champagne bottle. A lot of people actually have so many thoughts and feelings under the surface that they've been repressing all this time, and they just need something to remove the cork and get the thoughts and ideas flowing. And when I'm doing this type of practice, I'm often a little surprised by what I end up writing. We're trying to tap into the subconscious mind a little bit more, turning down the volume on our analytical side just for a few minutes, and seeing if we can tune into a different side of ourselves. I'm going to give you a few minutes with each prompt to write in real time along with me in this podcast, and that may well be enough time for you. But if you ever find that you want more time than I give, please feel free to pause and write for as long as you like. So the first prompt, when you're ready, is, to me, living deeply means. So just finish the sentence with the first thing that pops in your head and keep word vomiting on the page until you feel complete. To me, living deeply means ... There's no right or wrong. If you're ready, go ahead and wrap up what you're writing, and we'll repeat this same process with a new prompt. But if you need more time, please feel free to pause the podcast now and join me when you're ready. Our second prompt is, living deeply feels like ... So we've discussed what living deeply means to you, but what does it feel like? We're getting more sensory, more experiential here. Living deeply feels like. Go ahead and wrap it up if you're ready. And if you need more time, you can pause. We have one final stream of consciousness question, and that prompt is, I would be able to live more deeply if. I would be able to live more deeply if. First thing that comes to mind, don't overthink it. Again, you can pause and take all the time you need, or if you're ready, you can wrap it up. And whenever you're done with this stream of consciousness exercise, I invite you to take a few minutes to read over what you wrote. So I always test these exercises out on myself and sometimes friends and family before recording. And I was honestly a little surprised with some of my answers. So I think about this topic all the time. And this form of journaling gave me some answers that I wouldn't have necessarily expected, despite the fact that I think about this all the time. So read over what you wrote and see what you discover. You might choose to highlight or underline words or sentences that stand out to you. And as you read, keep the following questions in mind. What is standing out to you? What do you notice? Does anything surprise you? And do you see any themes or patterns? I'll give you a minute to read here. If you're still reading and you'd like some more time to give your full attention to your writing, feel free to pause. I have a few thoughts that I'm going to share, so choose what you'd like to do. So in my therapy practice, I talk a lot about layers. We have different layers of understanding, different layers of processing. Sometimes we can understand something intellectually, but it hasn't yet penetrated on an emotional level or on a somatic level. Sometimes our body knows something before our mind has a chance to catch up. Like if you've ever gotten a bad feeling about something in the pit of your stomach before you've even had a chance to process the situation cognitively. So this form of journaling aims to get at a layer just beneath the surface. It aims to tap into the subconscious a little so we can access some truths that your conscious mind might be filtering out. A lot of journaling really wants you to tap into the logical and analytical part of your brain. But my goal with this practice is to go one layer deeper. Many times I find we have the answers that we need somewhere inside of us, but we just have to peel back a layer. However, there's also great value in the analytical part of our brain. So now I'd like to invite the analytical part of you back on board. Let's examine this information that we've mined from your subconscious and explore what it might be trying to tell you. So I'm going to give you some prompts to consider, and you're welcome to answer all of them if you'd like, or you're welcome to pick and choose, or you're welcome to just kind of let them inspire a general writing that you'd like to do. You may want to go back through your original writing a second or third time with these questions in mind, or maybe you can just answer now. This is all up to you. I'll read you the questions and you can pause and jot each of them down. Or again, if you'd like to have them all written out, remember to check those show notes below. Question 1. As you read your writing, what do you notice? What stands out to you? Are there any patterns or themes? Some of those original inquiries I asked you to consider as you read your writing. What do you notice? What stands out? Any patterns or themes? Question 2. Did you write anything that surprised you? Did anything surprise you? Question 3. Is there anything that isn't there? Anything that you didn't write about that you would have expected to have written about? In other words, are you surprised by anything that you didn't write? Question 4. What do you think someone who knows you really well, maybe a friend, a family member, a loved one, maybe even your therapist, what do you think they would say about your answers? What would they say about your answers? Question 5. Integrating these more subconscious thoughts with your more analytical side, what lessons or conclusions can you draw from this journaling session? What lessons or conclusions can you draw? Question 6, one of my favorites. If you had to distill the message from your subconscious, from this first journaling, into 1 or 2 sentences, what would it be? What is the main message or theme that you're walking away with? And final question, what would you like to take with you from this practice? Any key insights that you'd like to continue pondering? Any actions that you can take based on your writing? I'll give you a few minutes here. And I will say, if you're trying to answer all of these questions, you will almost certainly want more time than I'll give. But let's take a few minutes together here. If you're still writing, you can pause. Or if you're ready to move on, you can close this mini retreat with me. Let's go ahead and once again stretch our arms up to the sky. Take a nice inhale at the top, and as you exhale, bring the palms of your hands together in a prayer position and bring that shape to the center of your chest. Let's do that a few times. Nice inhale, arms stretch up. And exhale, hands to heart center. One more time, biggest inhale of the day, arms up. And a nice long exhale. Keeping your hands where they are, take a pause and check in. How do you feel now compared to the beginning of this practice? How did it feel to take this time for yourself, with yourself? And what would you like to carry with you into the rest of your week? Thank you for joining me today. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you're feeling at least a little more centered. And if you'd like to be a part of our Centered with Abby community, again, please consider joining us on Substack. There is a ton of content for free, and with our paid tier, you get even a little bit more. So I invite you to check it out if you haven't already, maybe share with a friend or two, and help our community grow. You can also subscribe or follow wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, wherever, and maybe consider giving us a rating. Take care, and I'll see you next time.